Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Been a while. Today we are going to take 100% stock RAM and put in the OBR 46. When you buy this in the kit, you get the mounting hardware. You get, I forget what this is officially called, but this is for mounting the throttle cable onto. You have to take your diaphragm off, put that there, go over that. And then you have two options. This particular setup is going to be with the stock pipe. So here's the manifold. And then for the pole starter, you either have to get this conversion piece from DDM to run a standard pole start, or you can cut your chassis out and use the easy start that comes with it. All right, so here we are, stock RAM. Brian and I are going to be tackling this together today. Start out by taking out these bars, access to this motor. All right, after you guys get those 3 bars off at the top, we're going to come down here and get to the bolts that hold the motor to the clutch housing. Use heat, guys. Get a little torch. Got a lot of Loctite on it, and save yourself some headache. Heat the bolts, break the Loctite. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a bunch of strip bolts, and it's going to make this project that much worse. All right, next we are going to remove these 4 bolts. You don't actually have to take this cover off. Remove the exhaust bolt. All right, now that we got those out, we got these 4 bolts out, we're gonna get underneath this and get this brace out right here. That brace is gonna come out and it gets replaced with a new one in the kit. Right, so when you guys are taking this link out right here, you're also going to remove the bolts on this side and that side, so this entire bar will come out with the engine. All right, so after you guys get those 4 out underneath, this thing's now ready to come out. You do have to remove the throttle cable as well, but there's not enough clearance to just pull this straight out. So unfortunately, you do have to take majority of the side bolts off to take that cover off so you can pull this motor out. Okay, so after you get all those bolts out, the side plate will come off, give you complete access to the motor. I guess at this point you should decide if you're gonna continue on and cut this out or do the adapter for the pole start. Brian, you mind pulling that thing out? All right, so now that we got the engine out, it was fighting us the whole way, but you just got to get it at the right angle. So you're gonna take these 2 bars out and install the new ones with the kit. And after those are installed, the other plate that's in the kit goes across like this. So I'm going to get that installed so you can see what it looks like. All right, so this is what it's going to look like with those 3 bars. They're just gently installed currently, and you'll notice when you have these bars out, there's a flat spot. So those are orientated down, and then there's the foot. It only uses one of the 2 holes. So next we're going to start prepping the motor for install. So now we're going to install part number AV874. And so all we're going to do is remove these 4 bolts right there and install this. You're going to lose your diaphragm primer bulb, and this is what's going to house the throttle cable. The other reason we took this apart was so we can connect the kill switch to the coil. So I'm going to get that installed, and then we're going to start fitting the motor. All right, so the new cover's on. That's what it's going to look like. You're going to reuse this piece right here from the RAM. You are going to, however, need to order, and again, maybe it's in the kit, but I'm not 100% sure, this piece here. But you cannot use the stock RAM cable mount. So got the cover back on. So just one more quick look at this before we throw the motor in there. The orientation of this bar, you can see these holes are offset. So the thinner part of the metal is towards the drive side, and then the thicker part is towards the pole start side. And the bolts, you're just reusing the bolts that you guys took out of this thing. So you're gonna get that mounted up. So you got the 4 bolts up front here, the 2 bolts in the back, and that's it for holding the motor in. All right guys, so we just bolted the motor in, and we just realized that you actually are gonna have to bolt this plate onto the bottom of the motor first, because you can't get to the hole with this transmission in the way. So just a little note, bolt this on first and then slide it back in. All right, so yeah, after you start this, then you can slide it back into place. So again, with bolts, the only bolt that it didn't come with it, so hopefully it will, the stock bolt is an M20, and you need an M25 to go through this support bracket right here. Yeah. So on here, we're gonna use the kill switch that comes stock with the truck, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what Brian created here was a single lead that's going to go into...
It's going to go to the original kill switch.
Yeah. So put a single lead onto the coil. If you want to use the stock one, if you want to switch it over to an aftermarket one, you can do that as well. But we're going to go with this setup, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. So if you decide to cut your chassis out like we did here, after you get that done, you can put the chassis plate back on and then put on your pole starter after you decide what kill switch you're doing. So in this case, like I said, we connected the one wire to the coil, and then comes the coil and the black wire from the harness coming back from your kill switch go into the on-off switch, and then you're going to take the red lead along with the black loop that was originally on it and put that onto the switch and ground it out onto the chassis. So that's what it's going to look like when you're done. And everything will work, your on-off switch will work, and then your kill switch on channel 3 will work on your transmitter. All right, so in regards to your fuel setup, because you do lose your fuel return, so on your carb, you're just gonna have the pulse line here, your feed from your tank, just going into the carb right there. You can see where the throttle links up. And then on the return, you're gonna have to plug this. So what we have here is a FG filter. There's the part number. This is from DDM. In the carburetor, guys, the easiest thing to do would be get a carburetor included with your kit from OBR. In this particular case, we used part number AV800. So that's the carb, the HD223 that we're going to be using with this 46 piston port. So yeah, Brian had his exhaust welded up just for a cleaner look, but if you don't have access to that, you're just going to cut it off and it's going to come straight out here. So that's what your kit's going to look like when it's installed. The only other thing that we have to install, and I'm just waiting on at this point, is the spacers for the gas tank mount. Guys, when you move your gas tank, just so you know, you're going from this location right here, which is this bolt here, you're going back and down. So you're going to use this hole for the front bar, and the stock hole is behind the shock here. It goes from there to down here. So you're going, again, you're going towards the back and down with the gas tank, and that's why you need these spacers. And then when you put your bars back on, you're no longer going to be able to use the top mount bar, because obviously it's in line with the spark plug here. So, and you're going to move these bars from this location to this location. So you're just swapping the bolts around so you can reutilize these bars. Yeah, that's kind of it. It was a very straightforward fit. What do you think, Brian? What are your comments, your thoughts?
Pretty easy to do. Yeah.
I mean, as long as you got everything in hand.
Yeah.
So, you know, getting the motor, getting the mount kit, getting the carburetor. You got to have the drill bit to drill out to a bigger hole right here for this bolt. I think it went from a 5mm to a 6mm. Yeah, and that's kind of it, guys. I hope this video was helpful for you, and you're able to get this power plant in your Ram, because it wakes it up. And as soon as I get these installed, we'll get a running video of this so you can see it. So thanks for tuning in. Any questions, shoot it in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, thanks for watching.